Now, why could that viewer have not made his comment before I forgot to paint this? All right. Yeah, I read the comment after I was all cleaned up here and everything, and had unplugged my air hose. Well, this morning I went back downstairs and I plugged it in. At first, when I read the comment, I thought, "Oh, that's no problem. I'll just paint this with a brush." The problem is everything else that it's going to be mounted on, like or up against, for instance, like this right here has been airbrushed, and there is definitely a difference to the texture of the paint from when you airbrush the same paint on as when you just brush it on by hand. And not only that, but it's been my experience with an airbrush that it does a much better job in preserving detail. Now, I could probably be careful and not fill in all those little windows and stuff like that, but anyway, I'm just going to quickly go ahead and do it. We're not going to make a whole episode out of this. I do have a tendency sometimes to make a mountain out of a molehill. Yeah, let's just get this done here. Okay, there's a couple of things I want to mention here. And that is that since I have been diluting my paint quite drastically, like I think this one is probably 40% thinner. As I mentioned yesterday, I didn't measure it, I just sort of eyeballed it. But I dilute my paint right down, and also I've started to spray with a higher pressure, at least 25 pounds, and I found I've had really good results. I know I've been getting my toothbrush thing ready to to scrub the nozzle, but I haven't had to do that. Like I said, I've had pretty good results. It hasn't plugged up on me, although yesterday the number, what were we using, the 66? I didn't thin that enough, and it wasn't going too good. Now we should go pretty good here today. Oh, another thing I was going to mention. Oh, and I will move you in when it comes time to spraying. We'll just move right in on this thing. I don't know if I'll use the macro lens or not, but we'll move right in so you can actually see it happening. Now, normally something this large, I find does not work good on this rotator while it's spinning by itself. But being as that this piece is basically round, yeah, for instance, a piece this big, being as is probably about the same size, but being as it's basically square, for some reason it just doesn't work out good on the rotator when it's going automatically. However, we will here, and hopefully it'll stay running. For some reason, this thing that I'm using over here to as a power supply, it shuts off every once in a while, and I have to keep turning it on. You may have noticed in the past when I've been spraying, all of a sudden everything just shuts off here, and I've got to pause and redo it. Now, another thing that I like to do, if I remember, now this is only if I remember, and that is I'll take a little bit of either the Tamiya thinner or a little bit of isopropyl. And I'll just put in a few drops just to start with. Now my thinking on that, and it might be just in my head, it might be just a theory that doesn't mean anything. My thinking is that if I pour, oh look, it stopped all by itself. Well, that's the way it goes. And from now on, if all of a sudden this seems to stop for no reason, I'm not stopping it. It's just got a mind of its own here. Now, my thinking is that now when I pour the paint in there, the paint is not going to flow down into the nozzle and harden. It'll sort of, I don't know, maybe it's all in my head. Where's a little piece of paper here? Because I know this is going to want to run down the side. Now, I know I didn't need that much, but it's just as easy to pour back a large amount as it is a small amount. So, did you see what I just did? I laid my cap the wrong way. And after I made a big deal about setting a cap down like this so that the paint doesn't run up into the threads. Oh, man. I'll get it yet, folks. Okay, now we'll put this on here to help keep it from drying out. And, okay, let's recompose here and get our fan going. I think we pretty much got it. Let it dry and have a close look later. Although, no, it's good. Okay, now yesterday I was kind of complaining a little bit about how I didn't like to have to use the airbrush. And at least 2 viewers commented and said, what you don't like is the cleanup. And you know what? That's what it is. I don't like the mess involved with it. I do actually enjoy the spraying like we just did here. As you can see, we're all cleaned up and ready for the next time, and actually it wasn't too bad. I did that earlier this morning, and yeah, I maybe when I'm tired I don't like to clean up. You know what? The first couple of times I cleaned up, I did enjoy it, and then the novelty wore off. Anyway, I just thought I should mention that. It's the cleanup that I don't like. I really do like the good job that the airbrush does. And it seems to me that yesterday I said we would put the macro lens on and have a nice close look. So we'll put them on the rotator here and see what we can see. Now, mind you, there's 3 ladders. I'll just show one because the other 2 are identical almost. And there's 2 of these. I'll just show one. 2 of these. I'll just show one. You know, we'll just quickly go through it. We're not going to waste a whole bunch of time here, unless I keep talking. have done a better job of removing the flashing on that one. When I saw this here just now, I thought, hey, that's what Mark in Australia was talking about. And Mark, you were wondering, were they the same ones that we put on the Bismarck? Well, I thought they looked familiar too, so I got up out of my chair just now and I went and I looked. And I can't see anything on the Bismarck that looks like that. However, you may recall way back quite a while ago, we did put one on the Hood. And maybe that's what we're thinking of. And the one that we just painted this morning. Now, those of you who know how things are laid out in my computer room, you'll know that the surveillance monitor is right above my computer monitor. So as I'm sitting here doing my editing, if anything moves, even a rabbit, in my surveillance monitor, I see it. Well, I see someone coming up the walk to deliver a little package. And I was expecting something today. I know what it's supposed to be. But let's open it and make sure. I know you're going to be interested too. Well, some of you will. It's kinda related to past episodes. Kinda related. Now, I know you're supposed to be able to just take these and rip them, but I always have trouble getting them started for some reason. All right. Now, it's a good thing I can cut out the parts where I can't get the bag open. Another one. All right, now I want to be careful I don't accidentally cut the little cord that I know is in there. Okay, what this is a 12 volt digital display. I think it goes, the range is from 8 volts through 16 or something like that, or I forget now. But the idea is, what I plan to do is, and we'll probably do it sometime, you hook the wires onto either your car battery somewhere. I'm not going to hook them onto the battery because I don't want it going all the time. I don't know how much current this thing actually draws. It could be that this in itself would slowly run the battery down, because it is a it's not an LED. It's yeah, it is. It's an LED. So it is drawing a certain amount of power, but very little. Anyway, we'll work on this later. The idea is that when I get into my car and turn on the ignition, I want to be able to see what is my battery voltage. It's just something that I'm interested in. I know some cars will have something like this already. Mine doesn't. So yeah, and this thing is dirt cheap. It's amazing how you can buy stuff like this so cheap delivered to the door. I don't know how long we're going to be able to live in this affluent society that has this sort of thing happening, but we may as well enjoy it while we can. Anyway, that's what it is, a little voltmeter. Okay, back to the model ship. I know I get sidetracked a lot. Some people get a kick out of it, and some people, well, they just don't. Now, these ladders, they have to pretty much go on, I would think, now, at least on this piece here. Oh, by the way, I just washed my hands with hot soapy water because this flat paint, wonderful paint that it is, you know, if your fingers are a little bit oily, you'll smudge it up real fast. So that's why I did that. Now, this little part goes in that hole there. Otherwise it would be possible to put it on backwards. Now, there we go. Okay, it's a pretty tight fit. Almost don't need glue. Now, the little ladders, excuse me, that we see here, the short ones, they actually go on the back here and here. The shorter one would go there, and the longer one would go there. I've got to be careful. I almost scratched it. However, I think that the easiest time to put them on will be before we glue this onto here. So, and the longer ladder, okay, the longer ladder goes on the back here, and we'll worry about that when we get to it. I've got an idea of how I'm going to do it, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if you can see it there, but it's supposed to be bent at a sort of a funny angle. Anyway, let's see, what do we got here this afternoon? It is 23 minutes after 2. Let me just go and edit out what I've just done here right now and see how much time we're going to have. We might have to cut today's episode off. I like to be able to take my time at this, and you know, I don't like to have to rush it. You know, if it gets to be a bit of a, you know, stressful, then you know, it takes all the fun out of it, right? And this model building is supposed to be fun. Yeah, those do look like little robot heads, don't they? Okay, now if you will recall, we were talking about trying to glue that onto the back there. Come on. Okay, and we were going to use clear coat, and the reason being is the CA glue will sort of smother everything, whereas if we use clear coat and then like, I think, didn't we use the clear coat gloss and then we did it again with the clear coat flat, and it stuck really well, and the ladder just, it really stood out. Now this was a couple of months ago that we did that on another part on the hood, maybe longer ago. Anyway, that's going to have to be tomorrow, folks, because we've completely run out of time. In fact, right now, the last little bit of video that I did is processing, while I'm doing this, and I am concerned that today's episode might post late. If it does, you'll know what happened. I just fooled around out here too long instead of getting it done. Anyway, thanks for watching, folks. And all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.